said, we're allowed to say what we want. But in the Constitution, you said like 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago, we're supposed to have freedom of speech.
Exactly.
So if the Constitution is supposed to govern the government, even though I feel like sometimes those could be gray areas, just because people want to govern what they want for whatever purpose that serves them at that particular time. That's my opinion. So if you're allowed to have freedom of speech, why, when you do freedom of speech and you talk the way the talk needs to be talked, because people are so, and they know the truth, they're so scared to respond to it, like, yeah, I know that's what it is. It doesn't make any sense because it is the truth, and we're all supposed to live by a code that want to help individuals survive and protect or whatever. That means we're not living by the code of as the earth as the earth's growing, we're not living by the code of the earth. So now we're lying to each other for whatever our reasons of to want to suppress or to gain or to manipulate. That's not fair to the people.
Well, regardless if it's not fair, the government doesn't care. And that's the thing. It's like, yeah. It's unfortunate because people have the option to voice, and that's, you see people do voicing their opinions. You do, but it doesn't take one person or two people or three people. It takes a multitude of people to, you know what I mean. And that's what the rebellion is. A rebellion is, that's what it is, man. You gotta just, it's hard because nobody understands that they too can fight for it. They too can like be alright. You know what I mean? They don't have to be oppressed, but people choose to be because they don't want to overstep anything, and then they get hurt for it.
Yo, we had 34 views, yo, and that's it. It's not that bad for an hour.
I just, you know, it's unfortunate, man. It really is. Some people, I think about it sometimes, and I be like, you know, people are not weak. They're just scared. That's all.
And that's not right to be scared. Going through whatever you are going through at the particular time in your life. Mm-hmm. Alright, so let's get a little bit more deeper into it. I done learned about the Quran. The Quran says in the scripture that there's only one God, and it said Jesus and Muhammad are prophets and servants for God. And Jesus and Muhammad are prophets and servants, and Adam was the first prophet. Mm-hmm. So do you know about? So what's your opinion on all the prophets and how they're supposed to communicate the words from the time that Allah or God was alive until the time that, and do you believe these are the end times of what you're seeing in the earth, and then Allah/God, he's the same person, and he's looking for strong individuals to pass his message through the earth, and it doesn't always have to be through the churches. Mm-hmm. What's your opinion on that? I'll give you a two-part question. Go ahead, to what you're bringing.
So I guess the first question I can answer would be, I mean, I can't say that, like, I can't argue the fact, or I won't even be able to. The one thing I think about when I think about religion is I don't compare it to other religions. You know what I mean? Other people have their own point of view and their own sense of it. I don't think about my religion as just one form of it. You know, I think of it as a love. I think as a bond. I think that if I give myself to God, I'll be alright. You know what I mean? There's no point of just being like adamant about it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, you know what I mean, God, you know what I mean, loves everybody, and regardless of what anybody could believe in, you know what I mean, it's, at one point we're all gonna go and we're all gonna face him. I think that, you know, and that from there, cause I saw this video about this guy who, he's a really intelligent guy. He was saying in an interview how, I mean, I guess he died or whatever, and I guess they were trying to resuscitate him in the hospital or whatever, and that he saw this body like he was floating, and it was like almost like he got sucked into an area, like, and it was going so fast, like, you know what I mean? It was just like, you know what I mean? And his body was transparent, you know what I mean? And he said that I guess there was a multitude of people. I mean, thousands of people in front of him, thousands of people behind him, and I guess that he couldn't see God, because he said that it all he saw was just it was grayed out. You know what I mean? But and then he saw like the what was in the Bible in Revelation. It stated that when you die and you meet God, before you meet God, you will be in front of a multitude of things. It would be a lion, it would be a bird or something. And he said in this thing, he said it didn't feel like a dream because he was able to move around, but he felt like everybody was stuck. And he said he watched. He said in front when he saw somebody, he saw like pictures of their life moments of what they did, and he said like for some reason he felt safe, but he didn't feel like.
So you saying basically it would play like a movie?
I think yes. I think that when we die, I think that we'll meet God, and then He'll show us bits and pieces of what we did, what was bad, and He'll show us bits and pieces of what was good. Because nothing is hidden from Him. And I think that I don't read the Quran, but I know that it's a very similar thing. You know what I mean? Very similar. But I think that it's not purgatory. Purgatory is an area where you don't go to heaven or hell. You're just in a waiting area, basically. But I believe that when you do meet God, I think that like everybody, like you're gonna meet thousands of people in front of you, thousands of people behind you, and I think that God's gonna show you like reals. Because I remember my first relationship, this Ukrainian Russian girl, and she told me we told my dad because we go to church. We used to go to church, and I'm not with her now, but she said that in her dream, it's almost like she saw like a movie reel of her life. And I think that what you're basically saying ties into like what happens, especially what that guy was talking about. So I think it was a glance at heaven she might have had, or you know what I mean, or whatever the case is.
And then I feel like it replaced everything you did, good and bad. And then that decides.
And I guess
that decides.
If God doesn't accept you, he just, I guess, like I don't know what the actual answer was. I think the guy said something along the lines of be away from me or something. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like I think the path of redemption to God, and people get confused, you could pray to God, and just like Christians, and I think that's what you're trying to ask, they sin, and God still accepts. I think God is willing to accept those who are pure at heart, acknowledging that He exists, and acknowledge that if you do actually seek peace, and you want Him, like, in your life, I think that He will, in a way, He'll tell you. I mean, you'll know. I mean, I don't know what God's voice sounds like, but all I know is anytime I talk about Him, I'll get goosebumps. So it's like, I would know when He's around. I know He's around.
So do you believe, as I'm building a mentorship program, is that why some of y'all energy draws to me, because y'all feel that I'm pure?
I think that you just convey a different attitude on things. I think that the norm is everybody assumes that if you're black, you can't be successful, and if you're black,